To get the full iPad mini 7 experience, I'm going to put my M2 iPad Pro back in the box and exclusively use the iPad mini 7. Let's see what we got. First off, this bad boy has the A17 Pro chip, which is the same chip that's found in the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max minus 1 GPU core. And we're working with 8 gigabytes of RAM, which is double the RAM from the previous model. Just last week, I unboxed and posted a video of the 11th gen iPad. I was super excited to see what that was about, and I'm even more excited for this iPad mini as this is my first ever iPad mini. It actually feels a little bit smaller and lighter than I initially thought, and I'm liking this blue. This blue is not as serious as that blue on the iPad 11. That blue is amazing. This almost looks gray, but you can see the little tint of blue. Let me just place that aside because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the unboxing because we got a whole review to do in this video. I can now add this to my collection of 20-watt charging bricks. I would love to give some away to anybody that's in the Philadelphia area. I don't need these. And you also have your standard braided USB-C to USB-C cable. We are going to start out with the main thing that people worry about on this iPad, and that's the 60 Hertz display. You're not getting a 120 Hertz display, but in my opinion, this display is very snappy, as you can see for yourself. You get in and out of apps with no problem. All of my main devices are 120 Hertz display, and I still find this device to be very enjoyable. If you're just focusing on the fact that it's only a 60 Hertz display, you're going to have a problem. Now, if you sit here and enjoy the iPad mini experience for what it is, you will love this tablet. I really enjoy the video quality on this iPad. I mean, it's an iPad. I've never had an iPad that had a bad screen. I never had an issue watching videos on any iPad. I did this particular B-roll shot with the windows open so you can see what the 500 nits display looks like in a very well lit room. I've also noticed that for once I'm using an iPad in portrait mode. I've been having iPads since they released and I've always used them in landscape. This is the first iPad where it feels very natural to use in portrait mode. And of course, its smaller form factor makes it very easy to prop it up or put it on stands where with my bigger iPad, it'll weigh down. With this iPad, it'll sit right on the stands with no problem. I don't have to worry about it tipping over or tilting down over time. It's perfect. It's also extremely portable. You can palm this bad boy with one hand. You do not need two hands to carry this around. I honestly feel like Apple found a sweet spot with this size. It's a bit bigger than my iPhone 16 Pro and a bit smaller than the iPad 11. I don't think they need to make it bigger or smaller. If I'm home and all three of these devices are on the table, I'm going to reach for the iPad mini 9 times out of 10, especially for content consumption or gaming. When playing games on this, I didn't notice the iPad getting crazy hot. It got warm just like my regular iPads will. My iPad Pro also gets warm when you game in a lot, all depending on the brightness or the intensity of the game, what you're doing in the game. But the overall gaming experience is really good. I actually prefer the game on this than my iPad Pro or the iPad 11 just because it's smaller, it's easier to hold. And I personally didn't even notice a difference between the 60 Hertz and 120 Hertz in the games that I play. Now let's talk about the speakers. The speakers sound really good. It's about what you would expect from an Apple product. I'm impressed with the fact that this sounds better than most Windows laptops. I find myself never having to put it on full volume when consuming media. Now, one little small thing that did bug me is the volume rockers on this iPad is on the top, and on my other iPads, the volume rocker is on the side. So I find myself keep trying to press the side of the iPad and there's no button there to adjust the volume. That also brings us to the next thing, Touch ID. You don't get Face ID on this iPad, so you get Touch ID. Now, I will give it the benefit of the doubt because on my MacBook Pro with Touch ID, sometimes it works, sometimes I gotta type in the password. It's not always consistent, even on my MacBook Pro. But on this iPad, it's no different. It's gonna constantly ask you to put the password in, so it's like, what's the point of even having Touch ID if it's asking for my password before I can use it? Now let's check out this rear camera that does shoot in 4K, but at the same time, it's an iPad camera, so don't expect anything crazy. I'm using the iPad mini's rear camera right here to shoot the iPad 11 in that bright blue colorway. It's not bad, but as you can see, it's a little bit washed out. Nothing a little color grading couldn't fix. All right, so normally I test the microphone and the camera indoors, but since this is an iPad mini, a very portable device, I know people will actually be using this camera outside. So we're doing an outdoor test. Let's see how the mic sounds. Let's see how this camera looks. Right now, for me, it looks pretty clear, but we'll see what happens when I throw that thing on a Final Cut Pro software and see what it looked like. I'm obviously not going to color grade it or anything, but this is just the raw image. Now overall, I really feel like I could replace my iPad Pro with the iPad mini 7 because there's nothing that I do on the iPad Pro that I can't do on the iPad mini 7. Now, will I do it? Probably not, only because I already have the iPad Pro. If I didn't have it and I had to pick one or the other, I'm gonna go with the mini. Just like most people, I wanted to see M series chip in the mini and 120 hertz in the mini, but it just doesn't need it. The iPad mini is just trying to be an iPad. In conclusion, the iPad mini 7 is frequently on sale for $100 off at $399. You are getting 128 gigabytes of storage, which is double the storage of the iPad mini 6. You're getting Apple Pencil Pro support, and you also have Apple Intelligence if you care about that type of thing. Some people might actually use it. I really don't use it at all. And you're getting great battery life and an amazing form factor. But that's all I got for y'all for now. Stay blessed, not stressed. Pray more, not less. I'm out.